welcome to episode 47, part 2 of Kenya's premier sports video podcast, the Three Quarters Podcast. Remember to jump onto the hashtag Road to Japan, support the Kenya Simbas as they are still looking to qualify for the Rugby World Cup in 2019 in Japan. And as we are all about promoting sports and sports travel, the Three Quarters Podcast has partnered with Moran Sports and Travel to give you this brilliant offer for the Dubai Sevens on the 1st and 2nd of December. So for only $999 you get the full Dubai experience, which is your desert safari, your nighttime barbecue, and your dhow cruise. This and much more coming up on your screen. I'm BMOTW.
This is not your official noisemaker, Jerengus Kenyana.
So, Badman of the Week comes from our feature game, which was KCB versus Homeboys. For me, just before you start, I think I'd go with Mohamed Omolo. I think stepping up from, yes, he was playing well at Impala, but this is his proper, sort of outing to show himself for Homeboys. And I think he did very well. His kicks, I think he got, it was just the last kick he missed. So that's a very good conversion rate, and kicking is a big problem we have in Kenya rugby, so that would be my
people don't focus on kicking. Mohamed Omolo is one of the people that actually picked out. We talked about we actually did talk about him last year before the beginning of the Kenya Cup season, and we said that he was a player to watch. And of course, after Nato Simiyu did not take part in the Kenya Cup season, then Mohamed Omolo is the person who stepped up to number 10. So he had a decent season for Impala, but he also had a brilliant game yesterday versus KCB at the Impala Floodlights. A couple of guys, Edwin Omundi, Alpha Sotieno, they also had very decent games. But for me, I think my Batman of the week was Ken Moseti. Moseti is always this pure heart. I remember last evening I bumped into KCB and Kenya Sevens player, Philip Omai, and we were discussing just about rugby in general since we left high school. And he said that if there's something Moseti has been given that not too many people have been given, is heart. And you always see it in the way he plays. He's been shifted to number 12. He's not as big as we used to see as he was last season. He's really ripped. He defended well. He was good in the attack, and of course the nerve and cool and calm and collectedness to slot in the drop goal with the pressure that was there. So that's my badman of the week was Kennedy Moseti.
Now that you even mentioned his drop goal, he had attempted one before. That really went wide. He was one of the guys I considered, but I think I'll side with you on this one. Mohamed Omolo, the guy was brilliant over the weekend. He kept on providing attacking options for his charges, especially the linking between the forwards and the backs. He was really excellent at that.
These guys just showing us it's not the size of the dog in the fight, eh?
So fighting the dog.
All right. Now moving on to Rugby 101. How well do you know your rugby?
We've been taken back a few years. The time for this week, Rugby 101 is Samba, which is quite old school, by the way. I haven't had it.
Yes, I haven't heard that in a while.
I haven't had that in a long while. But anyway, you'll hear the occasional person talking about Samba, and it's not a Brazilian dance. It's Samba basically means to tackle. That's our Rugby 101 word for today.
That was really wow. Like you took me back.
Jesus, I haven't had it. I'll be honest with you, maybe 5-6 years. I haven't had people talking about it.
When Atinangus introduced it to you.
What? No, I haven't had. But anyway, Samba means tackling.
Now, Simbas had their first game versus Chile at the Cup of Nations, and wasn't the best start. It wasn't the best start. 23-3 in favor of Chile. I just felt, honestly, we didn't. Our defense wasn't actually really bad. It wasn't that bad, but our attacking just was, for me, almost non-existent.
Was not there because first thing I'd like to highlight is, and I was thinking about it when I was watching that game. Fine, I don't question Nato Simiyu's fitness, because for guys who've been around the rugby scene for a minute, you know and you hear stories of how fit Nato is and how disciplined he lives his life and how he takes his fitness seriously. But then it occurred to me that NATO has not played a competitive game since the Ngong Road Derby last year. You see, so then he becomes the starting number 10 versus Chile. I don't even think he's really had that partnership with Leo Seje. Seje Wade, number 12, because when NATO was leaving, it was Robert Taringo, Majay, who was the number 12. So they don't have that chemistry. The guy he left playing at Kenya Simbas was Nick Baraza. Nick Baraza is injured. So we were unable to get front football. We were unable to move. He didn't get the back line moving. And for me, his kicks were his kicks were poor.
They weren't what we're used to.
Exactly what we're used to. And maybe, I just think about it, maybe Jerome Pavard, I should have just carried Isaac Ademo and have him on the bench. Maybe. I'm just saying. The other things, we did not capitalize on Chile's mistakes because our defense was very resolute. Our defending was like top. It was very good defending. We were tackling. There were no greased tackles. We were actually tackling. And even the commentator mentioned, I feel pity for the Chilean players because their bodies are going to be sore after this game. We were tackling and they were spilling the ball. Yeah. So that becomes a scrum for us. Yeah. Our scrummaging was weak. It was very bad. So our scrummaging was weak. We were unable to capitalize on Chile's mistakes. And look, all Chile did was they had penalties. They took the penalties for points, number one. Number two, the try they scored, they realized Leo Seje was off. So guy slipped the kick right in between, and their fullback grounded the ball. So they just took their chances. They weren't brilliant. They just took their chances. That's my opinion, of course.
Yeah. I think it's either we didn't stick to our game plan or type of rugby. We ran the ball out, or the Chileans really studied us and found a way to play against us, and they granted their win. As you said, just to reiterate that NATO has been off, and it's a good point that you mentioned that he hasn't played any competitive match for quite a long time. Him coming in and taking over as starting 10 is a bit, I don't know how that happened. We thought that he'd bring in a lot of experience and he'll be calm and collected at 10, and the connection between 9 and 10 was a bit off as well. Yeah, our forwards were overworked. I believe these guys were really overworked. And as you mentioned, once again, you've talked about our scrummaging. It's not to a level that would be competitive against such teams. Chile is a team that is ranked just below us. For them to win 23-3 against us, could it even get a single try? And they're 10. I must give some edge to that guy. Yeah, that guy had some other vision that we wish that we could have that type of 10. To slip through that small ball for the first try, that was some brilliance. All in all, let's move to the next game. I hope these guys can correct a few errors that they had. And the handling errors, the basics. Yeah. There were too many.
Keeping the ball in contact. I mean, things that should be one of your first priorities. When you get the ball and you go down, do I have the ball? Am I going to place the ball? Am I going to, whatever you're going to do with it, but you've got to keep the ball.
You can't score points without the ball, so the ball is the most important thing in the game of rugby. So you have to secure that ball.
All right, so moving on to shorter version of the game. Kenya Sevens at SAFLAND Sevens. Very good outing for the boys. First outing of, let's just say first outing, yes. And first game against Namibia, they won 12-0. Second game against Zambia, they won 31-0. One against Bulls from South Africa, 41-0. Narrowly lost to SA Select, 24-21. And then in the semis, they played the Namibia Academy and beat them 26-0. And then that put them in the final against SA Select, where they managed to turn the tables and win 19-12. What do you think of the boys' performance?
I mean, it was good. Remember when we were discussing the last episode, we were afraid that the Shujaa side were going to be unable to test themselves before the HSP circuit begins. But it was a good outing. It's a decent outing for them in Namibia. And what really excites me is that it was a pretty young and new squad. Yes, so that they were able to achieve this is no mean feat. And I can only imagine then how the transition looks. I think Innocent Simi is listening to a couple of guys because there have been calls about the transition. It's time for us to phase out some of the players and bring in some of the new players. So it's commendable and kudos to Shujaa.
Yeah, I think it was very good seeing William Baka back playing. Some of the young players, I don't know if you'll help me with his name, but the boy from Oilers played very well.
Moregi, yes.
Samuel Moregi played very well.
Yeah.
Brian Tanga just reminding us how agile and how quick he is on his feet.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed watching them play.
Yeah, it was a good showing from the Shujat boys. I can only hope that we can just tweak a few things where we've seen that we haven't sharpened our skills, especially in the defense side. If we can improve on that, this is the only tournament that we had under our belt. We wished that we had gone for a Supulo 7s as well as Safari 7s if it ever happened, if it were to ever happen. So going forward, yes, we'll have to work with what we got, and I can only hope that come Dubai will give a good showing.
Yeah, well, best of luck to the boys.
True, best of luck to the boys.
Now, on to international rugby. We had the autumn tests. So here we had England versus Argentina. England won 21-8. We had Wales versus Australia, where Wales won... Australia. Australia won 29-21. Then we had Ireland versus South Africa. Ireland won 38-3. I mean, I don't know if you'd call that a win or a whooping.
Trapping.
But yeah, Yeah. And then we had France versus New Zealand, and New Zealand won 38-18.
A couple of England versus Argentina, of course, that was expected, 21-8. Wales versus Australia, that was an excellent game and a brilliant performance by Catley Bill. Yes. I've always had a liking for Catley Bill ever since he broke into all of this team. He's very and it's very versatile. 10, 12, 15. Yesterday he was playing 15. He had a very good game, and his try was like by excellence. It was good. Ireland versus South Africa. Look, I expected Ireland to win, but not 13. I don't know what SA went to do there. But anyway, I expected Ireland to win. Johnny Sexton had a decent game commanding his back line. Ian Hill in the front. CJ Standard, number 8, they had a very good game. The winger, I forget his name, number 14, had a very decent game. France versus New Zealand. I expected New Zealand to win, but France had a very good second half, and they really brought the noise. But I did expect it didn't go any different than I expected. I did expect New Zealand to win.
Right. What were the highlights for you?
Well, this was a down low actually. Ireland versus South Africa. Yes, expected Ireland to win, but not this big as you said. It just goes to prove that Ireland should actually be ranked way ahead of South Africa and Australia as well. As you mentioned, the Wales versus Australia, that was a fantastic game for Catley Bill. Remember his try when he ripped the ball. Everyone was confused as to where the ball was.
The Wales already formed.
Next thing you know, he's in between the posts. France, New Zealand. The moment of the game was what Sonny Bill Williams did. He said, tap the ball out.
Play volleyball.
As the commentators were saying, they know he's a boxer, yes, but really? Why? There was no need for that, because now that gave France a penalty try. And he was sent off. Good showing from New Zealand as always. England versus Argentina, as you said, a match expected. It was really expected. England had to win that one.
All right, well, that's all we have time for today. Guys, remember you can like our page on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm BMOTW.
This is Nyashi, official noisemaker.
Jeringus Kenyana.
Stick around for part 3.